Hello friends, welcome back to channel NEET, and today we are going to start with the chapter that is known as biological classification. Okay, today is lecture number 1. I want to inform you that this is very important chapter with respect to the competitive exam, that is NEET, because near about 3 to 8 questions are being generally asked in the examination from biological classification. Okay, now what is the need of biological classification? As a human being got developed, as he used animals and plants, so the naming pattern was must. Okay, so this was the basic necessity for classification. Okay, now there is a proper history to the biological classification. That is what we are going to understand in this particular lecture. Let's see the history of biological classification. In history, the first part that we are going to see is Vedic literature. So we will be discussing with respect to Vedic literature. The time period of Vedic literature is near about 2500 BC to 650 BC, and in this time frame there were near about 740 plants and 250 animals were classified. Okay, in Vedic literature there was a very famous Upanishad, that is Chandra Yogya Upanishad. According to this Upanishad, animals were classified in 3 major divisions. Here majority of the word in the Chandrayog Upanishad is Sanskrit, and we need to translate them for our understanding. Okay, the first what we come across is Udbija. Next what we come across is Andaj. Third what we come across is Jarayuj. So animals according to Chandra Yoga Upanishad is divided into Udbija, Andaj and Jarayuj. Now let us understand their normal terminologies, okay, with respect to English. Okay, Udbij means something that is growing below soil. Now since they are animals, okay, I cannot take here an example of a plant. Okay, something like earthworm. Okay, Udbij could be also referred as minute or small. Andaj is oviparous. Okay, means the young ones will be coming from the egg itself. Okay, so here young ones are going from the egg itself. Generally they are birds. and Jarayu is viviparous. Example is humans. Fine. So this was the classification with respect to these Sanskrit word. Okay, and these are the names which are more familiar to us. Fine. So now we'll quickly revise. Okay, today's topic is biological classification. Okay, I already told you there are near about 3 to 8 questions which are been coming in the competitive examinations. Okay, why is the need of classification? As human were getting dependent on animals and plant, there was a need of better classification pattern. Therefore this classification pattern has some history. Okay, so we will first relate with respect to Vedic literature. Vedic literature, the time period is near about 2500 to 650 BC. Okay, in this time period there were 740 plants and 250 animals which has been classified. Okay, in the Vedic literature itself there is an Upanishad which is known as Chandra Yoga Upanishad, in which animals have been classified into 3 particular form. Okay, Udbija, Andaj and Jarayuj. Okay, in Udbij, which means below the soil, Andaj means oviparous and Jarayuj means viviparous. Here one of the example is earthworm. Okay, Udbij could be related as minute also. Oviparous is birds and viviparous is humans, which are directly giving birth to the young ones. Now we are going to see the classification laydown that was done by Sushruta, okay, in details. Now let us understand the classification that is given by Sushruta. The classification knowledge that Sushruta has written in a book. That book is known as Sushrut Samhita. Shrut Samhita. The time period for which his work is recorded is around 600 BC. Sushruta classified organism in 2 particular form. Organism in 2 major form. The first was Sthavar. The next was Jangam. So according to Sushruta, organism has been classified into Stravar and the Jangam. Stravar means immobile. Jangam means mobile. Now this classification relatively becomes very easy with respect to example. You already know immobile are plants and mobile are animals. So such kind of classification was given by Sushruta. Now we will see of the plant classification given by Sushruta. So let's see the plants classification, that is Stravara. That are nothing but plants. It was divided into the following part. We'll try and understand. The first was Vanaspati. The next was vriksha. The third was virudh. And the last was aushadhi. So these were the classification which Sushruta has given. Vanaspati are, they will give you fruit but no flower. Fine. Vriksha will give you flower as well as fruit. So both is given by vriksha. This could be termed as angiosperms. Virudha was shrubs and creepers. Aushadhi was medicinal plant. Sometimes monocarpic. So this was the plant classification that was introduced by the Sushruta in book Sushruta Samhita. Fine. Okay, we'll quickly revise. So in Vedic literature there is a notable book that is known as Sushruta Samhita. The time period of this book is near about 600 BC. The organism were classified into two particular halves, that is Stravar and Jangam. Stravar means immobile, Jangam means mobile, and the example are plants and the example are animals. Okay, then we are seeing up the classification of Stravar. Okay, that is the plant. He classified them as Vanaspati, Vriksha, Virudha and Osadni. Okay, so here fruit will be present but no flower. Okay, here both flower and fruit are present. Virudha are the shrubs and the creepers. Okay, and Osadni will be monocarpic. Now we will see up the animal classification. Now let's see up the Jangam classification. That is the animal classification with respect to Sushruta. The animals here were again divided into sub parts. We will see them. The first was Matsya. The next what we could see is Jungle. The next what we could see is Kulkar. The last what we could see is Guase. Example of Matsya is fishes. Example of jungle is animals who are quadruped and herbivorous. Okay, quadruped means animals who are going to walk on four legs. Okay, so the animals who are going to walk on four legs is known as quadruped. Kara are animals which are going to found on bank of river. They are generally herbivorous. Example could be buffalo, elephants. Guasai are generally animals which are carnivorous. Who eat flesh of animals. Example could be tiger or lion. Fine. So this was the another organism classification of Jangam. Okay, they are divided into Matsya, Jangala, Kulkar and Guhasai. Okay, fine. So Matsya are very common fishes. Jangala are quadruped animals which are herbivorous. What are herbivorous? They are dependent on plant. So herbivorous are generally who eat plant. Okay. Here Kulkar will be mostly living near the bank of the river. They are herbivorous. Example buffalo and elephants. Guhasai are generally carnivorous animal. They are flesh eating animals. Example is tiger. Okay. So this was a classification that was laid down by Sushruta with respect to the Jangam, that is the animals. Okay. Now we will see up the next topic of classification that was given by Parashar. Start with the next topic of classification that was given by Parashar. His classification was mostly on plants. He had written a book. That book is known as Vriksha Ayurveda. In this book he has given the classification for plants. As you already know, Ayurveda relate mostly with the plant. The time period was near about 100 BC of his work. There were two major classifications that he has given. One was basis of leaf, and next was on angiosperm. Vedic literature we call it as Vriksha. So let's see the classification on basis of leaf. So leaf was classified into two major forms. The first was Jalikparna. Next was Monalaparna. Jalikparna means reticulate venation. Maulikparna means parallel venation. Means suppose you are seeing up a leaf, so you could see some lines like this, and you can see the divisions like this. So this kind of a leaf we can see reticulate venation, okay, which means chalik. What does this means? Web like appearance. Reticulate means web like appearance. Parallel venation means they are parallel to each other. Fine. So this was the basis of classification that was done with respect to leaf. Now we will see of the classification that are based on vriksha, that is angiosperm. Now let's see of the classification that is based on angiosperm. Which are also known as vriksha. Now let's see of the classification on basis of vriksha. The first classification, that is Dvimatruk. The next is Ekamatruka. So Dvimatruk means dicotyledonous. Ekamatruk means monocotyledons. Fine. So in the Vedic literature also there was a classification of monocotyledons as well as dicotyledons. Okay, this classification was done by Parashar, which is mentioned in the book Vriksha Ayurveda. Okay, fine. So this was an Vedic literature or the Ayurvedic literature classification that was done time to time for better usage of plants and animal. Fine. Now we'll quickly revise the topic. Okay, Parashar, okay, he mostly worked on plants. He has written a book that is known as Vriksha Ayurveda. This time period was near about 100 BC. He has made two type of basic classification on plants, on the basis of leaves and on the basis of vriksha. Okay, on the basis of leaf he has given a classification which is Jalik Parna and Maulik Parna. Okay, and on the basis of plant or vriksha, okay, there is Dvimatruka and the Ekmatruka. Dvimatruka means dicotyledonous and Ekmatruka means monocotyledonous. Okay, fine. Hope you like today's video. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.